Hi, I'm Viktor Bovallius. I'm the head of business intelligence at Bauer Media, Sweden, and I'm about to try some Swedish Fika. It's like sugar on top. This is nice. It kind of feels like a vanilla bun or some sort. No, this is saffron. Is this like a saffron bun with sugar on top? Awesome.
Great, nice.
Nothing in it. There's no like mandelmassa.
No.
What's the English word? I have no idea. Almond mousse. That sounds so weird. Okay.
Okay, nice.
Haven't tried this before though. Super nice. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get you some paper. Yeah.
Yeah, some napkins. I think that's good.
Very nice. Good, that's perfect. Okay. Add it to as you're eating.
Okay. Ooh, this is more of a actual regular bun. I think this is a cinnamon bun.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is it good?
It's a little bit dry actually. Sorry. This is a 4.
Are you ready for the last one?
All right,
All right.
I am. Yeah, I think I know what this is. It's like, yeah. Yeah. Dammsugare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not your favorite?
No.
Why do you hate them so much? I
Sorry.
wonder how far you pushed it away from yourself. And that.
This is where my cat instincts come in. It's like you just want to push it off the table. It's like.
Welcome to Let's Talk Marketing, the first Fika. Today I have Viktor with me. He works at Bauer Media. He got to introduce himself when he was doing our Fika test. How did it go, Viktor?
I think it went pretty well actually. I got 3 out of 3. It was, some was tasty, some was not tasty. The saffron bun was very good. The other 2 were okay.
We saw that you didn't really like the dammsugare.
No, not my favorite at all.
But that's a very disputed Fika pastry because some people love it and some people hate it.
Yeah, I have some family members who love it, but no, it's people are crazy.
Do they look down on you for it, or they're like, "How could you not love this?"
No, I look down on them. So, but.
You're like, I know what I'm talking about with Fika pastry. So saffron
It's
bun.
a conflict. It's a real conflict. The struggle.
It's real.
Yeah.
So the saffron bun won. So we brought that here if you'd like to pick on it, but we had you having a lot of pastries, so
Yeah, we'll see. I'll go eat it later on, but it's yeah.
and then we have more coffee, and I think I passed the Swedish citizenship exam because I did lagom with milk and coffee, which lagom is not too little, not too much, just the right amount. I feel like I'm in Goldilocks and the 3 Bears when I get the lagom. So I went and I think I did the lagom perfectly with your coffee.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yes, I passed.
Yeah, I had this favorite coffee place when I lived in Singapore that was called Lagom. It was a Swedish coffee.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right. So you were like, oh, I'm home. I can have my lagom coffee.
No, that was when we went to IKEA to buy coffee and cheese. That was like so weird.
I've heard of Swedes doing that in the US too. It's great. It's like, I won't get into that too much. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk about your role at Bauer Media, what you're there for, or like why they brought you in. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing at Bauer Media.
So my role is head of business intelligence, and I'm focusing right now on trying to help Bauer Media become more data-driven. And to do that, we of course need to understand our data that we have a lot better, because that is one of the most difficult things, to actually just understand what kind of data we do have already and how to utilize that to its full extent. So that is the core part, and then it comes into trying to automate things and looking over processes and workflows, etc.
Okay, so to you, what is an old or analog way of working with data?
So it's funny when we talk about analog data or analog processes, right? Because we're still working a lot within the digital mediums. But for me, an analog way of working is, of course, when you pull a report based on Excel or something, and then you need to redo a lot of things manually. You might need to move the tables to another sheet. You might need to move other data sets. And then you email that to somebody, and then it's just stored in their email. And then next week you do the same thing, and then there's like multiple layers or multiple versions of this, basically the same Excel, just it's updated data, and you have no idea which one is actually the latest versions, except for a small number that you hope you see or get know which one to look at. That is a very old-fashioned way of working nowadays, but it's very common that companies are stuck there because they don't really know how to take the steps into becoming more automated and data-driven, because at the same time, they're using part of the data, right? They're still data-driven in a sense, but not to the full extent.
So you went through what the challenges are or the cons are working in an analog way, but to you, what's the most annoying or challenging part of working in this way?
The most frustrating when working in an old school way is definitely two different parts of it. The first part is that it takes so much time. Just pulling reports every single day or multiple times a day or just even once a week, and then manipulating the numbers or not manipulating the numbers, but creating visualizations in Excel, sending them to people, having them look over everything, finding the correct versions. All of that takes a lot of time, right? It's a lot of manual processes of just managing the sheets, creating visualizations, and it's very time consuming. The second part of it is, of course, the deep insight that you can get when you actually have a good way of working with data, because when you're pulling in reports like that, you rarely are looking at the long-term implications and looking for the long-term insights, basically. So one of the things when you're starting to work with your data in a better way and actually storing data and looking at it long-term is, of course, that you can see new kinds of trends, new kinds of ways that different kinds of parts of the data interact with each other, and then you can find new insights and bring that to your business to help make better decisions, basically.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge for companies who need to make the move or who want to make that move into being more data-driven? Like, what's blocking them from doing that?
I think it's very difficult to get started, or more specifically, know where to get started. A lot of businesses look at the bigger companies and seeing like they are working with machine learning and AI, and everything should be automated, and you should have a data lake and a data warehouse, and you should model the data, and everything should be API based, so you don't need to do anything yourselves. And it's a very big mountain to climb to actually get there, but very few actually talk about that kind of journey. And for a lot of companies, that just becomes impossible to get there. And then they just look at the data and say, okay, so what do we need? We need to get everything to a data lake. Okay, so we need an API. How do we get an API? And then they get stuck there. But what they actually do need instead is just go back a few paces and see, it's like, okay, we need our data so that we can make better decisions, right? Who needs the data? Okay, so we have these people who need data from these platforms. Okay, let's start by just pulling all of these reports and scheduling them, and then we just drop them on SharePoint or something, and we can pull them into Power BI in an automated way. Okay, is it the most solid way to work with data? No. But you can look at the data long term, and you have a little bit of an automated process, and you have one place where these people who will make decisions based on the data will go to find their data. So what you've done in that case is improve your processes. You've standardized the way that you're looking at data and the way that you're talking about data and the insights within your company. And from there, you can actually have a blueprint on what is it that we actually need. And then you can bring in recruit people, or you can bring in consultants who can help you achieve that long term. Like, okay, so we have these platforms. We need to look at it from this perspective. We need to have these kinds of insights from our data. Can you help us? And then they can help you with APIs and data lakes and all of that to actually bring it to the next level. But climbing that kind of mountain without actually knowing what you need the data for is so difficult, and a lot of companies just get stuck on that.
I really like the mountain analogy because I think a lot of people do actually get stuck on just like, it's like if you're training to climb Mount Everest, like, and you don't know where to start, like, you're just gonna be like, okay, do I do my conditioning first, or do I make sure I have all the right gear? It's like setting that foundation to be able to, because taking on a big project can be overwhelming. Yeah, so I think it's good that you give that advice to like just start with the minimum viable thing and keeping the actual the goal, the true goal in mind of the end user, and like who needs the data and why they need that data and how they're going to use that.
Yeah, because that is the, like, understanding your usage of the data and how you need it and how you want to apply that to your business. That is the most difficult part in terms of that is the most difficult part in terms of outsourcing tasks. You can always outsource setting up a data warehouse or a data lake, but the understanding your business and your needs, that's very difficult to actually give to a consultant to do.
Yeah, and if you can't express that yourself, then yeah. It's almost like a data mission statement to climb the data mountain. You like what I did with that analogy?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I'm just going to flip my very professional note cards.
Oof.
I know. One day these will be branded.
One day.
This is not a giant notepad. Okay. So what are the key things that you think people should start, that they can start doing or start advocating for to begin that journey to climb that data mountain?
So I think one of the main things is just starting to look at your data and actually trying to find a little bit of a long-term approach to it. You always need somebody to just take charge of that journey, because it's going to be a little bit of a journey. You need to try to find your way to approach this. And there are a few platforms that you might need to have. You might need a visualization platform, for instance. But it's
like when you came in to Bauer, you said, okay, we need these top things. What were the top things that you were like, I 100% need this, and this to be in place before I go for being data driven?
Right. So one of those things that you really need is, like mentioned, a visualization platform. You also need to have the understanding of what you actually want to accomplish. So one of the first things you really need to do is just sit down with a lot of people and talk about their needs. How do they pull data right now? What do they use the data for? And try to understand the reason behind why people are doing what they're doing. Because a lot of times you have a process that is just there because it's always been like that. And you're looking at data because you've always looked at the data like that. And you kind of need to question that at any given time and try to say, okay, do we really need this? Can we do this another way? And how do we get this data together with something else? And then watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to do modeling of data and stuff like that, but that's really going to help. But you don't need to be an expert to start doing this at a small scale and start understanding your goal in this.
So like playing investigator, sitting down with those people, first understanding, then getting to like the challenge part where it's like, okay, why do we need to do it this way, and can we do it better? Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just I think a lot of people do kind of skip that step sometimes of like just getting a...
Yeah, understanding the requirements and needs of the business is very important. And it's definitely a mandatory step to actually do before you can brief a consultant on anything, or a developer. Even if you have people in-house who are able to set up everything up, you need to understand your business first before you can actually ask them to do anything.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so final question. Well, maybe. So what are the existing things that you're helping the company with? Like which stakeholders and yeah.
So currently I'm working a lot with our sales director, trying to pull reports on how does our sales go, what does our budget look like, how can we merge those kinds of data sets together, how can we create forecast models, those kinds of things. But also in the radio industry, we're of course looking at ratings, like how much reach do we have, can we make forecasts on that, what do we think we're going to have. A lot of those. So mainly the sales director is the main.
Stakeholder? The main guy right now.
So mainly the sales director is the head stakeholder, but there are also a lot of other people involved in all of these projects, and of course, the sales director himself does not really know all the other data sets that are out there and the use of it. So there are a lot of other people involved in just trying to figure out how we use the data and what we want to use it for.
Is marketing excited for you to start working on them?
Oh yeah.
Are they next, or are they like?
I think they're third. It's going sales, finance, and then marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure that they're very eager. Okay. So thank you, Viktor, for chatting with us today. And again, maybe we'll have you back, and you can tell us how it's going, where you are in the mountain climbing journey. Should we use that analogy a lot? I think we should use that analogy. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
It's
And very tasty.
Good. Okay, perfect. So saffron.
Yeah, saffron was nice.
Yeah, okay. Never a dammsugare again. All right, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Should we do an awkward wave?
Now it's time for Megan to try a dammsugare.
Nah.